Welcome to the 70th Annual National Veterans Day Parade in Birmingham, Alabama. Veterans Day started right here in Birmingham in 1947. Today is November the 11th, 2017, and this year's parade is about to begin. But first, we have some very important people to thank. The live stream, uninterrupted television broadcast, and permanent internet archive of today's parade are made possible by these fine Birmingham area sponsors, who salute the men and women of our military for their brave, dedicated, and ongoing service to our country. Vestavia Hills Rotary Club, Chris Z's, National Veterans Foundation, Al's Deli and Grill, Full Function Power and Audio, Sky Castle Gastro Lounge, Slice Pizza and Brew House, Hendricks Chevrolet, Vets for Vets, and the City of Birmingham. Thank you. And now, we join the 70th Annual National Veterans Day Parade in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello and welcome to the 70th Annual National Veterans Day Parade in Birmingham, Alabama. It is November 11th, 2017, and 70 years ago, 1947, it started right here.
Right here in Birmingham.
And I'm Karen Day. I'm with my co-host Mark Cummings.
On a beautiful day in Birmingham, 65 is gorgeous today. Fifth year in a row with great weather. I love it. That's yes. Right.
Gotta love it. Coming up the street, we have Birmingham's finest, and boy, are they sparkly today. Lots and lots of motorcycle policeman. Kathy Culberson, on the board of Veterans Day, is all about artistic design, and she wanted them to be in two big V's coming up the street, make it good.
Had beautiful flyovers just a few minutes ago at the beginning of the parade. It was fantastic.
Yes, I think there were P-51s, Stearman biplanes, and of course F-16 somewhere.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know my planes. Oh, me.
Normally, I'm nervous if I see one of them make a U-turn.
Exactly. You'll hear in the background all the people clapping for our Birmingham Police Department, Birmingham's finest, on the motorcycles as they come through.
And they are escorting the parade. We always try to get them to slow down a little bit so everybody can keep up with them. Isn't that gorgeous?
And a new logo this year on the street, the National Veterans Day logo, which obviously started right here, as Karen mentioned earlier, in 1947. Some great history there for 70 straight years. Never been canceled due to weather. Never. Right here in Birmingham.
Not once. But of course it's Birmingham. But Raymond Weeks is a native of Birmingham, Alabama, and back in 47, well, originally this was Armistice Day.
Right.
And after Korean War, World War II, he felt very strongly, as others did, that it really should be all veterans, not just the anniversary of the end of World War I. And so he tried and tried and tried to get the word across.
He went to Washington and spoke to General Eisenhower. Hey, we need to do this for everyone. And finally, when President Eisenhower was actually in office several years later, he actually renamed Armistice Day National Veterans Day.
Yes, and of course Kansas will argue with us because it was a Kansas president.
They can argue with us all they want to.
They can. They finally gave it to us. I think we thumb wrestle about it once in a while. But I think making Bob Dole our National Veteran of the Year a few years ago kind of made all that go away.
That smoothed that over a little bit.
Hi, Bob. We love you.
And more of the Birmingham Police Department.
By the way, if I may, I'd like to tell you about the parade route this year. We have a special little graphic that I think is kind of cool. It tells you a little bit about how pretty Birmingham is. But before we play that, I want you to get a good look at our color guard coming up the street.
The color guard this year is Team Red, White, and Blue, and they're a nonprofit organization dedicated to enrich the lives of Americans veterans by connecting them to their community through physical activity and social activity. Their chapter delivers consistent local opportunities for veterans and the community to connect. In 2016, they hosted 43,413 events across the United States, a total of 112,103 members participated in these events. Thank you so much for being our honor guard this year, Team Red, White, and Blue.
Yes. Okay, so about that parade route. This year's route is the original in reverse. It starts at the top of downtown by Alabama School of Fine Arts on 18th Street, looking across the valley toward Red Mountain. Head south on 18th, past Alabama Power and the stunning Lyric and Alabama theaters, and turn left onto 2nd Avenue North. Past the McWane Center and Pizitz Building, cross 20th Street, past the City Federal Building and Levy's, 4 generations of veterans thank you, and turn left onto 22nd Street. Head north 3 blocks past St. Paul's Cathedral and the gorgeous Birmingham News Building, and turn left onto 5th Avenue North past the Redmont Hotel, the Regions Plaza on the Birmingham Green, which is great for watching the parade, and then make the only right turn onto 19th Street, hitting the home stretch past the historic First Methodist Church and on up past the viewing stand in front of City Hall.
And that's exactly where we are now, right in front of City Hall on 19th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue North, as our banner for this year's parade, A Grateful Nation Remembers, is brought to us.
Every year we focus on a different time in American military history, and this year we are focusing on World War I, being the 100th anniversary. And what we have coming beautifully toward us is the Ramsey High School ROTC and marching band.
You know, the Ramsey High School, I say this every year because I'm so impressed. Ramsey High School has a 99% graduation rate, which is just absolutely phenomenal.
For a public school.
Absolutely.
It's a Birmingham public school.
Ramsey High School was established in 1930. And I like talking about their notable alumni because I love this one person. Fannie Flagg is an alumnus of Ramsey High School, of course, Fried Green Tomatoes and lots of other books. Also, Philip Alford, who was Jim on To Kill a Mockingbird, and Wayne Rogers, which was Trapper John M.D. on MASH, is also from Ramsey High School right here in Birmingham.
And as a matter of fact, Ron Bradstreet is a fellow we're going to be talking about a little bit later. He spent many years in the military and then spent many more years teaching ROTC, and one of the schools was Ramsey High School. So he had a lot to do with how they are able to look so sharp and have such wonderful ideas about patriotism in America.
This JROTC unit is always just on the spot, absolutely have it going on, and a lot of them too.
Yes. Here we go.
After the JROTC unit, we have the Ramsey High School. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I didn't know this was happening.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The JROTC unit from Ramsey High School. Right behind them is the Ramsey High School Marching Ram Band. They're an award-winning band program that's been in existence since the founding of the school in the 1930s. They consist of the marching band, a concert band, and jazz band, as well as many other smaller chamber groups. Ramsey High School, that sits atop the hill, as part of the foothills of Birmingham's southern border, stands as a beacon of excellence for the Birmingham City Schools. The program serves over 120 students of the population of 800. Many of the young musicians also participate in athletics, social, and civic clubs throughout the city of Birmingham. The Ramsey High School Mighty Marching Rams are honored to be here representing their school and community, honoring all those who have served and are serving this great nation of ours. I hope they're going to do us a little song right here.
I have to wait for the drums to catch up.
Yeah.
Part.
As they get in front of the viewing stand. Mm-hmm. Let's take a listen to the Ramsey High School Mighty Marching Ram Band. Once again, that's the Ramsey High School Mighty Marching Ram Band. They certainly have a great sound.
It's a good day for this.
It really is a great day for the parade. It's not too hot and not too chilly and no rain, so we're happy.
This little bear is happy. Yeah, that's one of my favorite shots. I absolutely love marching feet. And I know we're going to get to see the military schools in a little while, too. Gloves and shoes. The flag corps. Beautiful. There you go. I love our cameramen. Yes. And we are looking at the 3 parade marshals. The Grand Marshal of this parade is Wayne McCullough of the U.S. Navy. He is a Grand Marshal for the year.
Also, Thurman Ryan from the U.S. Navy.
And he's going to be... Are they all piled in together?
They are. And Thurl Roberts, also
Yes.
the U.S. Navy.
Those guys have been, Thurman and Thurl have been in the parade for 15 and 18 years, respectively.
Right. Been here a long time.
I remember the first year we did the parade, we saw those 2 guys just walking down the street in their Navy outfits. And I should not say outfits, a uniform. And I thought, who are those guys? Because it was a whirlwind that year trying to gather information and understand exactly how things unfold. But just in the middle of all the floats and all the marching bands and everything, there were these 2 Navy fellas. And there they are.
Just pedestrians. And this year they're being honored as our parade grand marshals. And they're going to take their seat of over the rest of the parade as they get to watch the end of the parade come by. Let them get out of the Jeep there. Thanking them for their service.
And here we have Wayne McCullough. Yes. Yes.
This is Miss Alabama.
And that's Jessica Proctor. And Jessica's platform is Step Up to the Plate about fighting hunger.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. I had a chance to see her last night at the dinner, and she is quite lovely.
In a beautiful Chevrolet, courtesy
Yes.
of Hendricks, which is one of our sponsors for today's webcast.
Yes, and that is one of the Vets for Vets, which
Oh,
we'll
one
talk
of
a
the
little bit more about
Vets
Vets for Vets later. Vets for Vets and Hendrick Chevrolet are responsible for that. And then we have, we'll let her. And then we have
Sarah
TJ.
Jo Burks, Miss Senior Alabama, is behind her there. She doesn't look much like a senior at all.
They never do.
She is absolutely beautiful. Sarah Jo Burke.
Looking lovely. Oh my goodness, she's riding on fur.
And then right behind her is Donna McGuffey, and she is Miss Senior Alabama. And she's a lifelong resident of Alabama, and she lives in Trussville. She's retired from her career in sales and marketing, and now serves as administrator for Miss Senior Alabama Board of Directors. She won the title of Miss Senior USA in May in Las Vegas, and she's going to compete on November 29th, just a couple of weeks, for the title of Miss Senior Universe at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas.
My goodness.
This is Miss Petite America, Dallas Teague Snyder.
What does that mean? They're all petite.
Yes,
It's petite
and absolutely
America.
all beautiful as well.
All beautiful. Her name is taller than she is. And we are looking at the 50 state flags brought to you by the Boy Scouts of America. This happens every year, and it's one of my favorite parts of the parade. Absolutely beautiful with the sun shining through the flags and the fellas all in their uniform, and you know that their mamas sewed every one of those badges on those sashes. I know my mother did.
Exactly. The Greater Alabama Council of the Boy Scouts of America presenting our 50 state flags for us here today for our parade.
We're going to see a lot of Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts.
And Cub Scouts, that's right.
Delightful Americana piling by today. And while they do, I want to tell you a little bit about this year's National Veterans of the Year. Usually it's one person, but this year we are celebrating the Navajo Code Talkers. And you may have heard about the American Indian Code Talkers during World War I and World War II. What they did, their languages were so unusual. They had nothing to do with anything as far as European languages and Japanese, and we were able to use them to speak English to them. They would speak their language to each other, and then at the other end it would be translated back to English, and anybody trying to intercept the code could not even pretend to understand it. But the Navajo code was so unusual and so unto itself that they chose about 30 to 40 individuals, and they took them and they began to work together and train and work up a code, and they were so successful. They're the only spoken code that has never ever been broken. And they were so successful that it had a huge impact on the outcome of World War I. But they had to keep it quiet because they were so successful that there was an idea that they would be using this again. So they did not receive any of the recognition that they deserved. When you look at the raising of the American flag on Iwo Jima, there were Navajo code talkers there. And it was because of them that we were able to have the impact and the effect that we did on Iwo Jima. They were, you only see the people lifting the flag, but the code talkers had that effect. So
wow.
And so they, of course, most of them are gone. Even the ones, of course, the ones from World War I, but the ones from World War II, and some of their descendants are keeping the tradition and helping us all spread the word about exactly what impact they had.
And so we're glad to be able to honor them this year for the Veterans of the Year.
Yes.
The Navajo. And actually, the pre-ceremonies, there was a Navajo young lady that actually sang the national anthem this year in the native tongue. And it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we're so used to hearing it in English, obviously, but to hear our national anthem in Navajo language was it was stunning. Absolutely. She did a great job.
I think what I liked about it too was that most of the time when someone performs, they face the viewing stand. But she realized how many people there are around and just stopped and turned a full circle singing to everyone here, and it was just lovely.
Make sure everyone got a little piece of it. I loved it.
A little piece.
As our Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts continue to come by, and like we said, there are lots of them.
Yes.
Lots of different packs from all over the greater Birmingham area.
Do soapbox derby cars float? They sound like they would.
Well,
They're made out of balsa. I don't know.
Where was that come from?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I know that is random, but all of these little bitties that are rolling down the street, you know that they have soapbox derbies for their little packs and troops. And
you see all the not only the regular signs there. You see the Pack 100 from Gardendale, but signs from different individuals with their particular veterans who may have passed on. Like right there, Sergeant Strickland. That touches your heart on this day as well, because obviously we remember those who have gone on, but those who are still serving as well, the men and women, lots of veterans represented here today by their families.
yes.
After these Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, ladies and gentlemen,
Asheville, Alabama, Bluff Park.
battled in the European theater in World War II.
And you know they're tired. They've walked this whole parade route. As we saw in the graphic earlier, it's probably, what, a mile? That's a good mile.
I know it has
Several turns.
3 right turns and three left turns and 1 right.
There you go.
Many blocks. You know times have changed when you look at all the shoes going by. It used to be little cap-toed red and blue Keds, red or blue. Now it's all running shoes that glow in the dark. I saw a pair of Merrills go by and I looked up and it was a leader.
Cub Scout Pack 230 right there from Moody, Alabama.
Now see, their leader has the right idea.
Exactly.
Wrangle.
It failed. Thanks to the Airborne Infantry and Armored Division, the Air Force, and more than 3,000 individually identified regiments, battalions, and support units.
And then we got the Pack
What does that say?
Pack Crew Trek Sister Scouts from Warrior, Kimberly.
I wonder if those are all the little sisters. And now we have the fellows. As soon as we get through with the Sister Scouts, we're going to look at the Battle of the Bulge Association, the Alabama chapter. The Battle of the Bulge. There are 2 particular guys, Wardlow Watson and Vern Miller. We have heard their name for years.
That's Vern Miller right there.
Yes. More than 70 years ago, over 600,000 Americans fought during World War II's largest land battle of the U.S. forces. And Alabama's chapter of the Battle of the Bulge keeps alive the memory of the men and the women that took part in that historic event. And I can tell you right now that you need to be doing your history. You need to read, because we don't hear about things like this happening now. Not like this. It lasted from mid-December 1944 to the end of January 1945. So it was a good, long, cold thing. Lots of people froze, lots of people starved, lots of people died. And the problem was that the Axis were pushing the line back, and that made the bulge in the line. And it was a big, ugly recovery, but we did it. At any rate, we want to thank the Dixie Division of the Military Vehicles Club for the ride, and please forgive my casual description of a very big event that takes more than a few paragraphs to tell you about. We do love the Dixie Division.
And the Dixie Division restores all these
Yes.
old military vehicles.
They sure do.
And we'll be seeing them throughout the parade. They've got a lot of different vehicles in the parade.
Let's see. We got military jeeps and trucks. And now we have CSC Roofing. They are one of our greatest sponsors, and this is the float honoring the Navajo Code Talkers and the U.S. Marine Corps World War II. And I explained to you the importance of the Navajo Code Talkers specifically and why they are being honored by us this year.
And of course, CSC Roofing is a proud supporter of National Veterans Day, our veterans and current serving military units. The owners, Kathy and Mark, have been involved with National Veterans Day since 2010. Mark serves as the president of the National Veterans Day Foundation, and Kathy serves as the treasurer, and folks that we work very closely with, and we appreciate all the work that Mark and Kathy do, especially for the parade, but you're all year long for our veterans.
Yes, as well as the rest of the board. Under 20 members, and they do a great day by day, month by month effort to make this weekend come off, and there are events all year long. And we are now looking at some friends of ours, the 117th Air Refueling Wing, 600 plus marchers. Feast your eyes. Lots of good camera angles on this one. Look at all of those people. And somewhere in there is our dear friend, Zach Goodwin. He dropped by last night when we were flurrying, trying to get ready for the parade today. And he's in town. And we're hoping that he'll drop by because we are at the end of the parade route. Okay, let Mark tell you.
The 117th Air Refueling Wing, Air National Guard, is located right here in Birmingham, and it's the home of the KC-135 planes and the people whose job it is to fly, fight, and win. This base was established in 1922, and the 117th has overcome many challenges over the years. The base currently has over 1,000 members currently serving throughout the world. Following behind them this year are some of the family members that stand behind the members each day, and we'll be seeing them in just a second.
But it's going to be a while because there are 600 of
600
them
of
alone. Yes. My goodness. Over 1,000 members currently serving throughout the world.
Throughout the world. In addition to the ones that are from right here.
Keep right. 117 careful. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Here are the reasons that we can't fly the family styles. When you hear those big planes going over, what you're hearing is the sound of freedom.
My goodness.
600 strong. Again, that was the 117th Air Refueling Wing from right here in Birmingham.
600 Boy Scouts will take up a lot more room.
Right. And as I mentioned earlier when I was talking about them, their family members group, their family readiness group, is following along behind them. And of course, family members are important as well. We appreciate the family members of folks that are serving, because that's tough on a family for their family members to be away.
It is. Their lives change, and people don't always understand exactly how much. Wow, that is definitely family. Radio flyers, strollers as wagons.
And their safety vehicle.
And as always, even though our armed forces are dedicated to ensuring that eliminating the enemy safety is of the utmost concern.
And this is the University of Alabama Army ROTC unit, Sabres drill team. And I believe they're going to stop for us here.
Yes, roll tide.
And we get a roll tide from the audience.
The Sabres drill team is an elite group of cadets who perform specialized drill movements. The cadets is led by
They're an elite group of cadets who perform specialized drill movements and cadences, led by Cadet Captain Amanda Margaret, Cadet First Lieutenant Jameer Walton, and Ross Metzger.
Somebody stop that car. Stop the car.
Well, you can't do it from here, so.
No, I can't. I can't do it from here. Here we go.
There was the.
And up next,
Here's some roll tides.
yes, up next we have the American Rosie, the Riveter Association, and our dear friend Fran. They are always looking for descendants of the Rosies, the ladies that went to work when the men were at war. And the children of these women are rosebuds, and the sons are rivets.
served as the first president in 2003. Was founded in 1998. The Savage Young, the contribution of women
Lots of Rosie the Riveters.
that promote patriotism and responsibility among all Americans.
I finally found, I want to give you the website. I've been looking, that's why I got so quiet. It's rosietheriveter.net. And they, as of last year, they had 46,001 and 4,601 members, and they are always looking for more.
And up next is the Marion Military Institute from Marion, Alabama. It's Alabama's military college of leadership development. Started in 1842 as Howard College. It's the oldest and largest military junior college in the nation, celebrating its 175th anniversary this year. It's a member of the Alabama Community College system. It's a 2-year public institution of higher learning. Over 210 generals and admirals are graduates of MMI, along with countless leaders in government and private industry. Let's take a listen to the Marion Military Institute Marching Band. The Corps of Cadets is 440 strong, representing 44 states and 48 Alabama counties. Leading the Corps, we saw the precision drill team called the White Knights, and they performed all over, or participated all over, including the Indy 500, the Sugar Bowl, and the United States Air Force Academy drill competition. You heard the band right there. They're called the Heartbeat of the Corps. And we appreciate the Marion Military Institute and all of their cadets for being here with us during this 70th National Veterans Day Parade.
It's one of my favorite things in the whole parade. All those gloves, all those shoes.
Shout out cadet.
All in step.
The Corps of Cadets is 440 strong, representing 44 states, the 48 Alabama counties. Leading the Corps, the White Knight Precision Drill Team, established in 1950, they have participated in
Look at that.
including the Indy 500, the Sugar Bowl, the United States Air Force Academy drill competition. The MI band song is the heartbeat of the Corps. It supports MMI, the Corps of Cadets, at events around the state and the nation. The band is directed by Colonel Darrell Street, commanded by Cadet Captain Jacob Durant.
Y'all are hearing our dear friend Mike Oakley, who is announcing all this for the crowd. Don't worry about missing anything. He's just telling them what we told you.
What I've already told you.
I know. We thought you might like to just be at the parade. Please forgive us for letting you get lost in the sounds and sights.
Up next, we have the Gold Star Wives of America. Of course, Gold Star wives are those who have lost their spouses to in service. It's a private nonprofit organization before the end of World War II to provide support for the spouses and children of those who lost their lives while serving in the armed forces of the United States.
And they have paused for a moment because we finally get to see Marion do their thing. Goodness. That is Marion Military Institute.
Very nice job there.
Absolutely. Very good. The White Knights of Marion Military Institute.
And now we're back to the Gold Star Wives.
Give that a little
They are the widow and widowers whose spouse died while in the armed forces or service personnel of all armed conflicts, including or involving the United States.
And there is Gold Star, everyone. There's Gold Star families. Anybody who has lost anyone in active duty. There's a Gold Star Park down in Wetumpka. We go there all the time. And we've got the Alabama Department of the American Gold Star Mothers. And we see Gold Star families. And I hope you are also noticing these beautiful Camaros that are carrying these lovely women. And if they are not privately owned, they are.
Was just saying,
what
are these bikes doing? These are actually zip bikes. But that gentleman right there in the front in the red is the mayor-elect for the city of Birmingham, Mr. Randall Woodfin, riding his bike on the bike route with some of his supporters behind. He will be the youngest mayor for the city of Birmingham in a very, very long time. And he will take the oath of office in just 2 weeks here in Birmingham.
And they say the youngest in modern times, which that's a long time.
That is a long time.
And yes, I believe we're seeing the riderless horse. I like it when you read it.
Up next is the riderless horse, sponsored by Patriotism in Action. The history of the riderless horse dates back to many centuries. In the U.S., the riderless horse is presented in funeral processions of officers of the U.S. Army and the Marine Corps, the only services that rode horses. The saddle and bridle are genuine. Boots that you can see here is that you can see from the ancient Greek funeral custom of reversing the order of things from what they are normally.
And now we have the Alabama National Cemetery in Montevallo, Alabama. And every year they participate in Wreaths Across America, where you can contribute to make sure that a wreath is placed on every single stone of everyone who has died in service to America. And that happens, I believe, December 15th.
It is led by U.S. Army Scout Sergeant Jonathan Ward, who serves the 1st of the 167th Infantry Battalion.
Yeah, December 16th at 11 a.m., a fresh balsam wreath on each veteran's grave. They honor those who are serving in uniform today, and they teach younger generations about the value of their freedoms and the importance of honoring those who have sacrificed so much to protect those freedoms. And
this is the Alabama Artillery Group cannon firing team supporting the disabled American veterans.
yes. And there are many vehicles that we're going to tell you about today. The Disabled American Veterans is a nonprofit charity that provides a lifetime of support for veterans of all generations and their families, helping more than 1 million veterans in positive, life-changing ways each year. And that sounds very easy to say, but there are positive, life-changing things happening, especially in Birmingham, at Lakeshore Foundation and places like that, where they, at any rate, the organization provides more than 700,000 rides for veterans attending medical appointments. They assist veterans with more than 300,000 benefit claims annually. Last year, the DAV helped attain more than $4 billion in new and retroactive benefits to care for veterans, their families, and survivors. Now, with almost 1,300 chapters and 1.3 million members across the country, the DAV empowers our nation's heroes, empowers them and their families by helping to provide the resources they need and ensuring that our nation keeps the promises that it made to them. Alabama has 33 chapters statewide with more than 19,000 members. And last night, the keynote speaker at the National Veterans Award dinner was Dennis Nixon, who's the Senior Vice Commander of the Disabled Veterans. Glad to have him in town.
Once again, that's the Disabled Veterans.
America.
Adjutant Gary Clements, Department Executive Committee Man Jerry Morris, Chapter 18.
And right behind them is the Lyman Ward Military Academy from in Camp Hill, Alabama, down 280 between here and Auburn. Lyman Ward has won 4 of the last 5 years as the best JROTC marching unit from Camp Hill. Founded in 1898, Lyman Ward is Alabama's official military secondary school and one of the only 13 boys boarding military schools in the United States. It's just 19 miles northwest of Auburn. The academy educates boys in 6th through 12th grade from across the U.S. and foreign countries. The school is fully accredited and boasts a 100% college acceptance rate. 100%. Once again, this is the Lyman Ward Military Academy from Camp Hill, Alabama.
Yep, and here we are with the Tragic City Rollers. They seem a little off theme, but let me tell you something. There are some veterans in the Tragic City Rollers. There are some partners of veterans at the Tragic City Rollers. Well, they've been Birmingham's competitive roller derby league since 2005, and they're part of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association, the international governing body of the sport. And they support our veterans and support our country. Tragic City Rollers.
I love watching them.
Yes. The Navy Operational Support Center in Bessemer is home to 3,000 drilling reservists from greater Birmingham area and surrounding areas. And as you just marched by, and now you are looking at the Fleet Reserve Association, a beautiful yellow Mustang convertible holding Gail Boyes and James Thomas. And you are now looking at the Celestine Native dancers. They are father, grandfather, brother, nephew. They support the, let's go back. Lloyd Celestine was a corporal, U.S. Army Korea. So he's the father, the grandfather of all. And this entire family supports their accomplishments. They have profoundly strengthened our legacy, and they will continue to leave all of this to their children.
Those outfits, though, absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Gorgeous colors. And they can dance, too.
They're Alabama's native dance troupe from Shelby County. They are direct descendants from the Alabama and the Coasati Indians that once lived in this area now known as Alabama. The dancers are children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren of the late Lloyd J. Celestine and Wanda. This dance group are rich in heritage and comprised of champion dancers. They share their culture through dance and storytelling. Native American veterans have long served in the U.S. military with honor and distinction. As tribal nations and communities, we must celebrate the commitment and sacrifice not only to the Native warriors, but to all the Native veterans, nation's veterans today. And they say thank you to the city of Birmingham for the opportunity to dance, to honor their families.
This is the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Gresham Smith chapter, 2202, right here in Birmingham.
And their purpose is to provide fellowship and aid to all Vietnam veterans. Their slogan is, never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. Chapter 416 designed and built Alabama's first moving wall, a replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., with the names of Alabama's 2,014 soldiers killed in Vietnam engraved. I need to say that again. It has the names of Alabama's 2,014 soldiers killed in Vietnam engraved. The wall is currently housed at Coleman Sportsman Park. And what I also want to tell you about is that they are looking for faces of the Vietnam soldiers who did not make it back, because in Washington, D.C., they are creating a museum that goes along with the actual wall in Washington, D.C. And you can go to vvmf.org if you have someone who did not make it back, if you know a family with someone. They're looking for photographs. Alabama is still missing 282 photographs to go with this. 24 states already have all of them. So
we're a little behind in that, need to catch up.
We are, so we're reaching out to you, the public, to please do that. And the Lily of the Cahaba at gmail.com is where you can go for local help. Lily of the Cahaba at gmail.com, that chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And they will help you.
And that's the 27 Alabama Vietnam Veteran of the Year, Roosevelt McCrae, in the red Camaro GT.
We're very happy. Roosevelt's time has been long coming.
Chapter 416, Vietnam Veterans of America. Coming up, you're bringing those trucks.
The Vietnam Veterans of America.
Vietnam Veterans of America motto, never forget. For one generation of veterans abandon another. Welcome home. Welcome home. The Bicentennial Committee, ladies and gentlemen, State of Alabama will be celebrating its 250th
That is the Alabama Bicentennial Commission. 200 years. Mr. Bobby Joe Seals there in the car. I mean, he is dressed to the nines, isn't he?
Oh, my goodness.
His top hat and his frock.
I don't know if you can hear, there's a man very close by who is constantly cheering and waving. And he's extremely happy. He is beside himself. I wish we could put him, show you how much he's enjoying the parade. But I know you can hear him.
Up next is the Winona High School Army JROTC, established in 1975, and it's remained a vital part of the curriculum since then at Winona High School. Winona High School, obviously one of the public schools here in the Birmingham City School System.
This marching group is led by Lieutenant Colonel Jalen Woods and Major Lakeria Taylor and Command Sergeant Major Harris. The Dragon Battalion is commanded by Jalen Woods and Command Sergeant Major Dylan
And right behind the JROTC. Oh, they're going to stop for us for just a second. Actually. Again, that's the Winona High School JROTC. Following behind them is the Winona High School Marching Dragon Band. They're under the leadership of Director Dwayne Moore. Under Mr. Moore's leadership, the band has received ratings of superior and excellent in various marching festivals, such as the Birmingham City Marching Festival. Again, let's take a listen to the Winona High School Marching Dragon Band. Playing us a little "This Is My Country."
Oh my goodness! If you if you knew who you're looking at, that the Humvee says it all. This is Staff Sergeant Hosey Hot Papa Johnson.
Hot
Papa
Johnson.
He acquired the name Hot Papa because all the ladies in the community wanted him after he came home from the Air Force.
Okay.
He enlisted in 1943 at 18. He was the 555th person to become a part of the newly organized U.S. Air Force. And while serving, he put himself through college, got a degree in writing and fingerprint expertise at the Institute of Applied Science in Chicago. He excelled in his duties and was promoted to Staff Sergeant and Criminal Investigator. He would eventually go on and and live among criminals, gather information, and take it back to his superiors. His word was his bond. Hot Papa. After all that, it's because of the ladies.
It was all because of the ladies.
All because of the ladies. Okay. And we're looking at the Gershon Smith, Chapter 2202. He is the Department Commander of Alabama. Of the Vietnam Combat Wounded Veterans. And the Women's Committee.
The Women's Committee of 100.
The Gershon Smith Chapter of the Vietnam Combat Wounded Veterans. I'm laughing because that is the classiest Chevrolet, and it is full of ladies.
And then the Top Golf van
Yes.
there.
And here,
Our new, one of our new businesses here in Birmingham.
yeah, every time we've headed up Highway 31 toward downtown, we've seen the spikes and the nets going up, and we're just waiting to see exactly what Top Golf is. But here is the Sherritt Farm. It's owned and operated by Shelby Sherritt Reed, her husband Michael, and her son Seth and daughter Jessica. They participate in events like church nativities, festivals, birthday parties. They were a petting farm, and well, I want to tell you, James was active in the Navy for several years, and here we are. So hugs for vets.
This is the Shelby County 4-H Club.
And
That looked almost like the doings of Hand and Paw. I hope so. So here we have Shelby County 4-H Horse Club. And we're going to see a lot of horses. We had the Sherritt Farms, Shelby County 4-H, and H&H Farms.
and some of them actually walked over the decal there. Well, always interesting to see if they'll walk around it or over the logo there on the street.
Stockholm, established in 1989 as a small county cafe. It's time Tennessee walking horses were purchased.
That was Scott Farms as well.
Originally owned a boarding operation, they formed that line club called Northside Freight Line.
And the Backcountry Horsemen.
Thank you for being here. Stockholm.
And the Outback Trail Riders. I'm rather proud of the horses this year. I think some of them have even managed to cross the...
Yeah, that's what I just said. They're actually walking across the... Some of them do, some of them don't. There you go.
Oh, I'm so proud. He put a foot just to prove he could, and now he's all excited. The big thing about that circle is that it was round.
Yeah, it was round last year.
Yeah, and it was a color that you find in nature, so they weren't sure what that was exactly, but at least that's what was explained to me. We're hearing one of my favorite sounds.
Double H Stables as well.
I love horseshoes. Love to get some of those
Montgomery
hooves
Trail
up
Riders.
close. Look at some of those shoes. They're painted. I mean, when a horse paints its nails, it's a big deal.
R&D Family Farm.
Yeah, show me some feet.
S&Z Farms. And the R&D Family Farm.
There are several farms throughout Alabama. Oh, of course, we have to praise the fellas at the end of the parade, if you know what I mean. They don't look too worse for the wear. But there are a lot of horse farms, equestrian services in Alabama that help people recover and find themselves again.
Up next, we have Marvin Smith. He's a Korean veteran.
The Lieutenant General, Victor Bruce attached. Defeated the Proud, the Brutes.
Yeah, they're talking about Brute Krulak. We know his son, Chuck Krulak.
Our Marines coming through now.
We do have Marines coming through. Brute and Chuck Krulak were the only two in the history of American military for the father and the son to have the same rank at the same time. One handed it to the other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And Chuck is right here in Birmingham.
Hoover Fire Department. The city of Hoover.
Yes.
Vets for Vets, Team Corvette.
And now we have the Vets for Vets.
What Vets for Vets do, they create events for people to have. Oh my goodness, though. Now we have to tell you, the beginning of this is the police Porsche. Yes, I'm
It's the
sure.
city of Hoover, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was confiscated, if you know what I mean. There's the Porsche, but now it's okay. Mark Davis told me that it would be there, and he's the president of Vets for Vets. So all the rest of them, but they have an event every year on Memorial Day at Talladega, where you, for $100, you can drive your car, whatever it is, for I think it's 5 laps around. And there have been 4 smart cars that look like little golf balls running around that track. But it doesn't matter if it's a Corvette, anything fast and sporty. Yeah, bring it. And I believe they expect over 700 this coming May.
And that's a huge fundraiser for them.
Yes, it is. I guess I need to complete the thought. They turn out to use that to help veterans, specifically to help individuals or to help groups that are helping veterans. So it's Vets for Vets. And it was started in 10 years ago, 2007. And we are indebted to Gary Nelson, who is also the vice president.
So in those 10 years, they've raised over $330,000 for various veterans groups in Alabama and the U.S.
Yes.
Wow.
I was right. The Porsche was confiscated in a drug operation.
And it's now used as a drug awareness Porsche. So
yes,
they're in Hoover.
But that does not hold a candle to Mike Oakley's Alabama Power Tesla. I just had to put that in there, which I have test driven. Thank you. So Winona High School was representing World War II, and now we see the Vietnam War era, 1955 to 1975. We've got Gadsden City Schools.
This is the Gadsden City Schools JROTC battalion. Some of the crowd there you saw. And this is the 32nd year this JROTC unit has participated in this parade. For the past 2 years, the unit has received awards recognized as the top 3 JROTC marching units in the parade. It's the City of Gadsden, Gadsden City High School, JROTC. Up next is the Knights of Columbus, OLS in Homewood. It's the world's largest Catholic fraternal service organization with the motto, in service to one, in service to all. These members of the Knights of the Columbus are from around the Diocese of Birmingham. Dressed in full regalia, these 4th degree Knights from OLS and Homewood have a special focus on patriotism and saluting our veterans. And that's the Knights of Columbus.
And here's the Department of Alabama Veterans of Foreign Wars. People are really making it fast.
Yeah, they're coming back real quick. Up next is Lyft. Some of their folks, their drivers and such, here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It was the first company to establish peer-to-peer on-demand ride sharing. It's currently the fastest growing ride sharing company in the U.S.
Earlier this year, Lyft partnered with the USO as part of their Roundup and Donate campaign. So passengers are able to opt in and round their fare up to the nearest dollar to support our nation's veterans. I think that is darn clever.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh boy. And here's the Southern Museum of Flight. They've got a 58-foot MASH helicopter on the trailer.
Right. I've actually, since the last parade, I actually got to go to the Southern Museum of Flight. That is an absolute amazing. If you folks who are watching ever have a chance to go out and just tour it. It's amazing.
And even if you just drive by outside, they've just added a new airplane, and I want to say it's the one that was outside of a high school here in Birmingham for many years. Mark Ryan went to that school. I'm sorry, I blanked on the name of the school. So we got the marching colonels.
Up next, we've got the Woodlawn High School marching colonels.
Wow. And the way the sun is reflecting off of those sequins is something else.
be behind the group.
I will tell you a little something about Woodlawn High School, just because I know it. Notable alumnus, Bobby Bowden, coached at Florida State University for a very long time, as well as Chris Davis, who Auburn fans absolutely know who he is. A few years ago, he had a little thing called the Kick Six down on the Plains and returned a missed field goal for 100 and some odd yards. So, Chris Davis from Woodlawn High School.
I like it when you tell the story. I really do. I really do.
Oh, babe. Up next is the Woodlawn High School JROTC Colonel's Battalion.
I like that shot. Look at that. I haven't. This must. Oh, I'm digressing. I think that's Rusty. I like this shot. You can see downtown and Red Mountain and Vulcan, as well as all the bands. It's just a pretty, pretty day.
Alan Madge Smith Detachment, the Marine Corps League, Semper Fidelis.
I like that horn. If you ever hear the dogs barking, that's a Marine thing. They have yet to tell me what it's about. So the American Red Cross is coming up. And of course, they have a very rich history and commitment to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of disaster. American Red Cross was founded in 1881 by Clara Barton, supporting soldiers in the Civil War, connecting them with their family, and they still are dedicated to serving active duty and veterans along with family members through the Service to Armed Forces Division.
Founded in 1920, as American veterans returned from France.
We could go on and on, but we all love the American Red Cross. What you see right now,
And you've already heard it.
yes, you heard it, is the 40 and 8. And the 40 and 8 with Chef de Chemin de Fer, Kenneth C. Lefleur, the President National, Joey Rorestad, the 40 and 8 Chef Grand de Guerre of Alabama, David Ladner, and La President Grand de Alabama, Ann Wilson, and the Texas 3. We go on and on. The reason it's called the 40 and 8 is because it held either 40 troops, 40 men in their equipment, or 8 horses. So, and this was back from World War II over in France. That's where it began.
And I don't know if you can tell, these are not huge cars.
No.
And for 40 people to have been in it, that's, or 8 horses, because I mean, they're not huge rail car for sure.
Right. Maybe they just leaned on each other. I don't know. I guess.
Close quarters for sure.
Yeah. But it was founded in 1920 by the American veterans returning from France. Originally, it was an arm of the American Legion. And they hopped off and became their own. And membership is by invitation of honorably discharged veterans and honorably serving members of the U.S. Armed Forces.
This is more of the
American
40 and 8?
Legion. Is it? Oh, this is still 40 and 8. I sometimes wonder, it's like everybody gets their own car. And I think it's because they got tired of riding 40 in a boxcar. What do you think?
Yeah.
He wasn't listening.
I'm sorry, I was
Trying to see who's
looking
coming.
ahead and reading.
Yes.
Up next, we have the American Legion Department of Alabama Commander. Judy Daughtry, the president there of the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Alabama.
Gordon Seal, American Legion of Alabama, Veteran of the Year.
Mr. Gordon Seal there in the golf cart. The American Legion Alabama Veteran of the Year.
Post 3
This is more of the American Legion. Connie DeMann, the 21st District Auxiliary President there.
I just realized what I'm not doing. I'm busy loving the day, looking at all the cars, soaking it all in. And I meant to tell you, there's a fellow named Dave Wood. And last year, if you looked back at last year's parade, you can watch a little interview that I did with him. He is a private pilot in addition to his regular career, and he belongs to a group called the Veteran Air. Well, it's called the VAC. I'm looking for it's Veterans Airlift Command. That's right. And what happens is there are veterans that need to be transported, and either they're frail or they can't afford it, they have need, or just out of compassion. And he loves to transport these vets to treatment or surgery from one city to another, whatever's needed. And he said if he doesn't respond quickly, he doesn't get to do it, because there are so many pilots who want to do this. And when they're flying from here to there, they change their call sign to honor lift. And in doing that, the tower will say, "Do you have a veteran on board?" And they say, "Yes, I do." And the tower will say, "Well, can we talk to him?" "Yes," or her, yes. So the towers get to talk to the veterans and thank them for their service. They get discounts on the fuel. The airlines actually adjust their landing for these little planes to get their veterans where they're going. And Dave Wood of here in Birmingham is one of those pilots. And he was given an award last night, the Soaring Eagle Award, which is for a civilian service to veterans. And he turned that award around and wanted to give it to everyone in the room and say, let us never lose our love of veterans and the people who have served our country to that degree. We just always need to be grateful to our veterans. And that is a very humble, beloved Dave Wood of right here in Birmingham. So,
as Karen was talking there, you've seen lots more of the American Legion posts come through from all over the greater Birmingham area. There's number post 171 there that you just saw in the shot.
From this angle, I feel like it's a live action movie Cars. We got one that's going all over the street.
He's having a good time driving.
Either that or he's stir crazy because we're at the end of the parade route.
Maybe that's what it is too.
It's like, I want to go somewhere.
There in the white one, you can see Gwendolyn Smith, the president of Auxiliary 347. Booker T. Oliver, post 347 in Fairfield. We have lots of paperwork we're going through. That's post 347 in Fairfield. We saw their president just a moment ago.
Happy Veterans Day!
This post 400 out of Leeds.
My goodness, united we stand.
That's a beautiful float there.
I love how different posts express themselves. Some of them just run in circles, waving arms out the window, and others make a really, really detailed float.
That's American Legion post 911.
All the way through the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
So we have seen the American Legion, and we have this is the very last post.
Post
of the American
1228
Legion.
there.
And we are now looking at the Heart of Dixie Spider Riders, SPYDER, Spider Riders. You know, those are the, well, you can see what they are. They're motorcycles with two wheels in front.
Three-wheel motorcycles.
Yeah.
This is the Heart of Dixie Spider Riders, motorcycle riding group based here in Alabama. They participate in many events to promote veteran support and charity fundraisers. In October, they hosted the Road Warrior Foundation in the Birmingham area. They take seriously wounded veterans and put them on Can-Am spiders and take them on cross-country rides.
Okay, now what you're looking at right now, this is the Kate Duncan Smith Daughters of American Revolution School. And they were founded by the Alabama Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, the DAR, in 1924 to provide education to children of a large rural area in the Appalachian foothills of northeast Alabama. So they have an emphasis upon patriotic education throughout the curriculum. There are students from pre-K up to 12, and they are encouraged to develop a strong love of American ideals as they obtain distinctive academic background. So this is the KDSDAR school. It's a marching band, and they represent the same spirit of excellence and national pride that the school is known for, and they're honored to be participating right now today in our National Veterans Day Parade. And I am totally loving the fella at the very, very end. He has been on a route.
Again, that was George Washington High School, George Washington Carver High School band.
Okay, I need to take all that back. Let's start back. Everything I said is true about the Kate Duncan Smith School, but we're going to see them in just a moment. You were just seeing Carver High School. I'm so sorry. Is there anything that we need to have said? And now we're focusing on the global war of terror, Iraq War 2003 until 2014.
And I believe this is the Carver High School JROTC.
Okay. Oh, I want to go back and talk about Carver again. I wish we could rewind about 2 minutes. All right.
I will tell you about Carver High School Marching Band. They received superior ratings at the Covered Bridge and Hayden Marching Festivals. The band has also received its 4th consecutive Birmingham City Schools All-City Marching Festival Grand Champion Award. There we go. Here's your KDS High School Marching Band.
Yes, Kate Duncan Smith, Daughter of American Revolution School. And they are extremely shiny and blue. I don't know if I saw, what's that? Is that a feather in their fez? What is that?
I call it a tassel. I don't know if that's
tassel.
correct or not.
Yes. And now we are seeing all the represented chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I'll take this time to well, actually, let's go for this first. Today, there are 4 local DAR chapters that are joined by the Kate Duncan Smith Marching Band and members of the Children of the American Revolution and the Birmingham chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution in saluting the many veterans who have served and sacrificed for our country. So you are looking at many Daughters of the American Revolution. We have the Cahaba chapter, the Sumter chapter, the Princess Sehoy chapter, and the Lily of the Cahaba chapter. And I had the pleasure of meeting Marlene and Shelby of the Lily of the Cahaba chapter. They were out at the Hoover Public Library spreading the word. If you know anyone who died in Vietnam and active duty, they're trying to create a museum to go along with the wall in Washington, D.C. to show the faces, not just those names, of which there are thousands. So they're trying to gather pictures. So if you could please go to vvmf.org, or if you need to talk to someone locally, you could go to email this address, lilyofthecahaba@gmail.com. And it's a DAR chapter, but this is for Vietnam, lilyofthecahaba@gmail.com. And we will try and get your picture. Alabama still lacks 282 pictures of the Vietnam casualties. And 24 states have already completed their list. So we're behind. We are behind. So thank you to the DAR for helping us with that project.
More of the Daughters of the American Revolution there.
Daughters of the American Revolution, Lily of the Navajo.
Yes. There she is. Look at that little blue car going by. That was Marlene. And now we're looking at the sons.
The sons.
Yes. And these are direct descendants of someone who was in the American Revolution. That's where that comes from. Lakeshore Foundation, Lima Foxtrot.
Lakeshore Foundation is a nonprofit which enables people with physical disabilities and chronic health conditions to lead healthy, active, and independent lifestyles through physical activity, sport, recreation, advocacy, policy, and research. In 2006, Lakeshore Foundation created the Lima Foxtrot program to help wounded, ill, and injured men and women of our armed forces with inclusive sport and recreation. Within the Lima Foxtrot program, Operation Endurance promotes physical activities to service members and veterans in Central Alabama who have sustained significant permanent physical injuries during their time of service to our country. Representing Lakeshore Foundation are veteran members of this program, of its programs, along with conflicts and branches of service. You can learn more at lakeshore.org.
A fellow spoke last night when the National Veterans Day Foundation gave $5,000 to Lima Foxtrot to help veterans. And there may be just a few simple changes. That sounds easy for me to say, but just a few simple changes and you can continue to enjoy your life much the way it was before you were wounded. And that can be very life-changing and outlook-changing.
Up next, we have the Still Serving Veterans, and their mission is to serve and honor veterans and their families, transitioning service members and members of the Guard and Reserves by assisting them in securing meaningful employment and the veterans' benefits they have earned. All services are provided at no charge. Together, we empower veterans and their families.
So are you getting the theme? There is a very large community surrounding veterans in this area, and their purpose is to thank them, heal them, hold them up, and help them go forward. And there are a lot of links to services and resources on the nationalveteransday.org website.
Up next is the Colonel Robert L. Howard State Veterans Home. It's in Pell City, St. Clair County. That's Corporal Clisson, you can see right there on your screen. It's home to 254 veterans. They're veterans served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the Gulf Wars. They're a state-of-the-art facility located in Pell City. 254 veterans live at the Colonel Robert L. Howard State Veterans Home in Pell City.
And they have some very big trucks at their disposal.
Yes,
that's all I can think of. You can hear them. This is the home thanking us. Yeah, plays this little boombox up there.
Then we're going to come to the conflict in Panama in 1989. From those, next up we've got the Huffman High School Viking JROTC.
And this is more of Huffman High School, JROTC.
The Huffman High Band makes superior and excellent ratings in national over and district competition.
And here comes their band.
Their band has made superior and excellent ratings in national, local, and district competitions. The marching band has competed in the national high stepping competition and received first, second, and third place trophies in the National Veterans Day Parade the last 3 years. Let's take a listen. This is the Huffman High School Band from right here in Birmingham. Again, that was the Huffman High School Mighty Marching Viking Band from right here in Birmingham. Next, we have the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club of America.
The Buffalo Soldiers are really something to behold. It's a highlight of this parade. They represent a long history, and their colors represent a long history. They wear them with pride and respect. They pay homage to African Americans of the 9th and 10th Cavalry who sacrificed their lives so that our country would be what it is today. It's a badge of courage, sacrifice, and honor for those who continue to serve. The National Association of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club is a mouthful. The National Association of Buffalo Soldiers and Troopers Motorcycle Club is an organization of professional men and women that are dedicated to the sport of motorcycle riding and safety. And they ride their motorcycles, the iron horses, if you will, to represent the horses that were ridden by the Buffalo Soldiers during the 1800s. Their objective is to educate those that are unfamiliar with racism, sacrifices, hardships that the Buffalo Soldiers of the 9th and 10th Cavalries had to endure. So, not only that, they love to ride motorcycles.
And they are beautiful motorcycles at that.
Sometimes they pop out and do circles too. I'll bet you they did that on the route. We just missed it. And
next up, we have Honda. Of course, Honda manufacturing right down the road from us here in Birmingham.
Honda employs more than 4,500 battalions that its engine vehicles in the plant in Lincoln. They have the capacity to produce more than...
Of course, Honda employs more than 4,500 Alabama associates at its engine and vehicle assembly plant in Lincoln. It has the annual capacity to produce more than 340,000 vehicles and V6 engines, making it Honda's largest light truck production source. Honda Manufacturing of Alabama is the sole production source of the Odyssey minivan, the Pilot SUV, and the Ridgeline pickup truck right down the road in Lincoln, Alabama.
very close to Talladega. Oh boy, we're looking at the Zamora Shriners. Shrine. Yes, it's fun to watch. Get a load of those cars. The dune buggies. And what's it called? The Leaping Lena? We got the dune buggies. And right there at the very, very back, we're getting ready to lose it on the crane. Right there at the back is the Leaping Lena. And if they give her enough room, that thing will go around in circles. And
there it is.
I just
got a hold on Big Dare, for sure.
Zamora Shrine is part of Shriners International, which supports 22 hospitals, Shriners Hospitals for children, providing specialty care for children up to age 18 with orthopedic conditions, burns, spinal cord injuries, cleft lip and palate, and regardless of what the families can pay. All care and services are delivered in a family-centered environment, so you don't have to watch your mama walk out the door. That is good. Zamora Shriners. Plus, they got dune buggies.
Up next, we have the Mid-Alabama Corvette Club. They're an annual supporter of several events, Miracle Moments of Alabama, that provide at no cost to child who has a life-threatening sickness with medical care. In August of 2017, they donated $15,000 to this organization, the National Veterans Day. It also buys red flyer wagons to be donated to the Children's Hospital in Birmingham each year. Last year, they donated 150 red wagons to children at Children's Hospital. Again, this is the Mid-Alabama Corvettes Club from right here in Birmingham.
I bet you didn't realize we had this many.
I didn't. I did not, actually.
There are so many in this parade, you would think that some of them snuck up 6th Avenue North and rejoined right as they turned the corner. I think we haven't been hearing enough of that today. Not enough engines revving.
No revving.
You know, the 40 and 8 can't fire its cannon because it scares the horses.
Right, they're normally right behind the horses.
I think they had a little help coming to that conclusion.
This is the Alabama Elks Association.
Yes.
The National Veterans Service Commission of the Elks was established in 46.
Yep. The Elks National Veterans Service Commission was established in 1946, immediately after World War II, with the sole mission of serving our nation's veterans. I'm telling you, it's a big community. Though much has changed since then, the Elks' dedication to serve veterans and military members in need has never wavered. In VA clinics, veterans homes, USOs, homeless shelters, and more, thousands of Elks volunteers give generously of their time, energy, and resources to serve veterans and military members each year.
Up next, we got the Jackson-Olin High School, JROTC. The Jackson-Olin High School Mustang Battalion, established in 1952. Again, from right here in Birmingham. One of their notable alumnus is Vanetta Flowers.
Really?
Who was in the 2002 Winter Olympics.
And she was the very, very first. I can think about 3 things that she's the very, very first. She was in the luge, and she won Winter Olympics. We don't even usually have snow here, much less ice a couple times a year. And Vanetta won the gold medal in the luge.
Well, there you go. Up next is the Jackson-Olin Marching Band.
She was a star sprinter and long jumper at UAB right over here. And she originally aspired to make the U.S. Summer Olympic team, but she turned to bobsledding and was a brake woman almost immediately. And in the 2002 Winter Olympics, she, along with driver Jill Packin, won the gold medal in the two-woman event, the first black person to win a gold medal in the Winter Olympics ever.
There you go. Like you said,
and she went to Jackson Hole. There you go.
There you go. Up next is the Gold Ring Road Riders Association. Founded in 1977, is recognized as the largest single marquee motorcycle organization in the world. They provide safety, technical, and educational services to its members worldwide. Dedicated to its motto, Friends for Fun, Safety, and Knowledge, their members enjoy the freedom to belong to a not-for-profit, non-political organization. With over 72,000 members worldwide, just over 2,000 in Alabama alone, they're a family-oriented social organization. The Alabama District of the Gold Ring Road Riders Association would like to salute our veterans, both active and retired, and thank them for their service to our country. Say that 3 times real fast.
I can't. I was admiring
Gold
you
Wing
for it.
Road Riders Association. Right behind them is Cub Scout Pack 353 out of Chelsea, Alabama.
Now, what's up with that? I think that they got lost.
They probably got caught in Auburn football traffic. Couldn't get up here in time.
You know what? I think you're right. He's not joking. Chelsea's on the way. Poor little things, little lost Cubs.
Actually, look at there.
They
were
have
actually
found the parade.
They were in their correct spot, so they were not late.
Oh, these are the Cubs from St. Francis Xavier over on Montclair Road. And they are saluting. They are not wavering.
This is the Birmingham Association of Realtors.
I'm trying to find the part that has to, there we go. They were founded in 1911, and they endeavor to enhance members' opportunities to serve consumers in a professional, ethical, and profitable manner. Greater Alabama Multiple Listing Service, a subsidiary corporation of BAR, was founded in 1958 and is recognized as Alabama's trusted real estate authority. And they love America. They are waving their flags, and they are saying, "God bless America." And that qualifies them to be in the National Veterans Day Parade.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this is more of the Birmingham Association of Realtors.
And I am certain that they have a few that work specifically with veterans to help them into their first house as they discharge. The Department of Veterans Affairs Vet Center. This is the traveling clinic.
It's the mobile vet center, yeah.
Yes.
And they're expanding their services there on 7th Avenue, I saw this week. They're doing a very good job at that clinic there on 7th Avenue and 24th Street. And they're expanding their services over the next couple of years. So congratulations to them. They're doing a great job there.
It was fascinating watching that building go up. And all the landscaping, I couldn't tell what they were going to do. And the next thing, they were open for business, and people didn't have to wait at parking decks downtown. It's all cohesive now.
This up next is the Magic City Camaros of Birmingham.
And these are indeed different from even the first two groups of Camaros.
They're a local car club in the city of Birmingham that is proud of its name and its city. MCC is involved with organizations such as the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Awareness and Alabama Homeless Veterans Program, among other community activities such as their upcoming annual trunk or treat at, well, I'm guessing that was a few weeks ago. They had that in Birmingham area fire stations for local kids to safely get candy for Halloween. This is their second appearance in the National Veterans Day Parade. And after them, we have the Parker High School, JROTC. They are the Thundering Herd. Notable alumnus from Parker High School, Nell Carter.
Really?
Nell Carter. I loved Give Me a Break. And right behind them is the Parker High School Thundering Herd Marching Band.
With a fabulous drum major. This is the best time of day to be at the parade because of the way the sun gets through the flags at the back of the bands. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we'll talk. This year, the band turns 100 years old there at Parker High School. The band is working on purchasing new uniforms in their new fundraising campaign. Again, that was the Parker High School Thundering Herd Marching Band.
Yes, we must talk about the Girl Scouts and not just the cookies. Hoover Area Girl Scouts represent the Girl Scouts of North Central Alabama. They build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place, and they are proud to represent their sister Girl Scouts in the nation's oldest Veterans Day parade.
Up next, is HOSA. It's the Healthcare Occupational Students of America. They were founded in 1976. They have chapters in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, American Samoa, Puerto Rico, Italy, and Germany. Over 200,000 students in the organization. They promote health to each and every person.
The Love Lady Center is a faith-based recovery center that houses over 500 women and children. They have several ladies that have served in the armed forces, and they believe they should honor their veterans, troops, and leaders, and their banner is Pray for America. The Love Lady Center.
That's Spring Valley School is next.
Oh, Spring Valley.
And now the Prince of Peace Girl Scouts there.
Over in Hoover.
And then the Home Depot.
Yes. There we go.
Huge supporter of veterans.
And employer of veterans. They have programs specifically. My goodness. And up next, we've got our friend Jerry Northington and his friends of the Southeastern Fire and Apparatus Association. Southern Vintage Fire Apparatus Association.
These are some beautiful fire trucks.
Yes. And they're all restored to their original splendor.
It looks like the oldest is 1953.
Yes.
And got a 55, a 60, a 68.
And sometimes at their events, you can practice being that person steering the back of the hook and ladder truck. That's our friend Bill. And he's got his headphones on for a reason. This is the Mac. If you could go back to that fire truck that's right behind the rescue vehicle, that's the Mac truck, and it's got the Mac, the Bulldog on the front. And I have rung that bell.
And you can see there in the right-hand side of your screen that one truck that's, I mean, all over the road there. I love it.
They are proud of that steering wheel on the back end.
Yeah, they are. Listen, can you imagine going all the way down the parade route like that, though? And he's worked up some sweat for sure.
I hope somebody didn't leave their little smart car in the curb. That's why you're not allowed to leave your cars. It used to be a tank should accidentally run over them, and now it's fire trucks. I'm kidding. No, these guys are dedicated to teaching children about safety in their homes and how to get out and what to do. They have a little mock house where you can pretend to put out a fire in the kitchen and turn off the power, and how to get out of your bedroom and soak a blanket and breathe through it.
There you go.
They're very kind. Just like the stereotype, right? Turn your attention to fire prevention, please.
40 feet is the longest truck that they had in the parade today. Lots of 24s and 48s. 40, excuse me, not 48. That was from Gardendale right there on your screen. And then from Brewster, New York, they have brought that one back. There's no telling how much time that they put into making that one so beautiful.
Wow, that's a nice horn.
Oh. And then the one right behind it is the city of Auburn. That beautiful blue and orange.
What does that say? Ranburn?
Ranburn Fire and Rescue. Don't know where Ranburn is.
And we have a couple of very tiny last-minute entries. One is called Just Serve, and another is called Greater Expectations. They just joined in today. We're very happy that they're here, but we don't have enough to tell you about them. And now we are to the last guys on our parade. It's the Birmingham Fire and Rescue. And we're looking at another hook and ladder truck. You know they're like that because they've got to be able to turn a corner in a neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, we appreciate our first responders here in Birmingham who work so hard to take care of us all the time. He's just sideways. I love it.
I wonder if he's trying to keep somebody from passing.
The ambulance, maybe?
Oh, now that's cold.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us today. That is the 70th edition of the Veterans Day Parade in Birmingham.
We've got, of course, the Birmingham Fire and Rescue truck. And at the very, very end, we've got the Birmingham Police. When you see the police, you know that the party's over.
We begin with the Birmingham Police Department, and we end with the Birmingham Police Department.
Yes, we do. We want to thank you all so very much for joining us for the 70th Annual National Veterans Day Parade in Birmingham, Alabama. If you're watching live today, you can watch it again tomorrow on WVUA from 3 to 5, and it'll also be permanent on the nationalveteransday.org website. Along with my co-host, Mark Cummings, Karen Day, and if you've seen him right next to us, Slade on the camera. We wish you a very happy Veterans Day, and we hope to see you again next year.
Happy Veterans Day.